But
brutal.
now we're up to something which is even crazier. I think in my mind, where do you guys stand on 230? Are the platforms in your mind, David, responsible for the New York Times publishing a story? Did you think they should have blocked the New York Times story about Hunter Biden
Or
and the
Post?
Definitely
not a New York Times story.
Definitely not New York Times. Oh,
That would have been hilarious.
New York Post, like they would never have blocked the New York Times, right? I mean, let's be honest.
Well, the crazy thing here is like, God, this is such a can of worms. Like I guess to specifically answer your question, I think, no, they shouldn't have, for a bunch of reasons, but one of which just simply being the Streisand effect, right? Like there
was a practical reason to not do it.
Yeah, like the fact, the Streisand effect being what was it? It was that Barbara Streisand's Malibu mansion had like coastal erosion going on, and she tried to hide the photo and prevent it from being published, and that just made it more of a thing. Like this just made a non-story a huge story.
Yeah. So that would be a practical reason not to do it if you were actually trying to not put attention towards it. But Ben, even if it was stolen material and a publication that's been around as the New York Post, but that is right-leaning, should a platform then choose to link to it or not?
Well, so now this is great. We're getting into what Jack's sort of proposed solutions were in the hearings. And one of the things, at least the sentiment that he echoed and that Mark Zuckerberg echoed were, hey, it would be great to have like clear guidelines around what we're supposed to do with 230 when you have objectionable content. And objectionable can mean lots of things, but let's just zoom in on the most obvious example, like outright hate speech. And you have something that's either, like the most aggressive form of trolling. The platforms today, under some circumstances, take that down, and no one's sort of arguing like, well, if they take that down, then they voided 230 and now they're going to be regulated as a media publication. It's like, well, they're taking down something that's like the filth of the internet. So like, I'm glad they're doing that.
You'd like to think of like,
but this is a thing that they're taking into their own hands, and it's not laid out in 230 or anywhere else. Like, here's the types of things that you should take down, and here's the types of things that, in order to remain neutral, you should leave up. And so the issue that we have right now is that this 1996, law, or small piece of a law that allows the parties to the Facebooks and Twitters, and I'm not totally sure why Sundar was in there, and we were having a conversation about YouTube in the same. It makes sense, but it didn't seem like he was sort of on the same level as the other two in the grilling. But in order to retain this status where 230 has this carve out for us not to be responsible for the content published on our platform, it would be nice to update it and give us some guidance on what we should and should not take down. So let's throw to this clip here of Jack responding, and I thought this was a very interesting one, where he talks a little bit about the algorithms and how the algorithms are making an editorial decision, and that kind of breaks 230. And here is just 30 seconds of Jack, and we'll come back after this and a commercial break for some feedback.
And finally, much of the content people see today is determined by algorithms, with very little visibility into how they choose what they show. We took a first step in making this more transparent by building a button to turn off our home timeline algorithms. It's a good start, but we're inspired by the market approach suggested by Dr. Stephen Wolfram before this committee in June 2019. Enabling people to choose algorithms created by third parties to rank and filter their content is an incredibly energizing idea that's in reach.